This week on LCARA Ham Radio, we're going to do a site survey, but this time out at the new property, Tiny Fangorn. We're going to check to see if there's any extraneous noises. That's what's coming up next this week on LCARA Ham Radio. Well, welcome back. We are going to take a look at the noise situation here at Tiny Fangorn, my new property. And the last video I did was talking about the tower that we're going to install. But before we do that, I need to hook up an HF radio and just kind of check the bands out. Now, I'm fortunate. I have an ICOM 7300, and it actually has a band scope. And this will allow me to look at the various bands and get a feel for how quiet or not that they are, and to see if there's any noise sources out there that I might need to kind of stay away from. So in the next segment, we'll be over at the shack and the outbuilding that I had installed, where the tower is going to be located near, and we're going to start hooking up the equipment and seeing, well, what does it look like from a noise perspective here at the new property. Stay tuned. Alrighty, so what I've done is I've opened up the shack here so that we can begin setting up. And as you can see, I've got the door open, which is going to help. And I've also got some things here on the table. Now, this is the Energy DC, Flex DC, that I waited 2 years to get. And I almost canceled this order, I don't know how many times, because other types of units came out sooner. Although due to supply chain, several of the vendors were having issues getting what they wanted. But I've got the flex battery on the bottom here. I've been charging it with solar all day. And I'm going to use the antenna in this bag, or at least that is the plan, to get on a couple of different bands initially today and this evening to see how the noise is. And the last thing I want to do is think that everything's going to be, just perfect just because I'm out here in the country. There is a recycling center just down the road here. Maybe it's generating some noise. There are a couple of neighbors, but overall, the time that I have spent out here, it's not all that noisy. And then I've got the ICOM 7300 here in the back, and I'll be setting that up on the table here momentarily. It's upside down there, but you guys get the point. I have a compact antenna, 20 meter antenna that I can also put up on top of the building if I so desire to kind of check things out. And we may use that. And then I've got some cable over here on the floor that I'll use to run outside the building into the antenna. We'll get the antenna far enough away from the building once we get everything set up. So that is kind of where we're headed with our tests. And then I've got a number of antenna stingers in the piping there, the white PVC. So I can do 80, 40, 20, 10, various ones. And they were, when I put them in the tube, they were already tuned. So the main thing, we're not trying to transmit today. We're just trying to just see what's on the bands. There is a 10 meter net. I might try to see if I can communicate with the folks back up in Somerset for the LCARA 10 meter net. But mainly my focus this afternoon is just checking the noise and seeing if I need to watch out for anything. So I'll be back in the next segment with the equipment set up, and I'll show you my setup coming up next. Alrighty, well, took me about 20 minutes. Had to find a better cable, but I did find one. And then as we look up, there's the octopus antenna. It's been a while since I've had this out. I like getting it out for this kind of a test though, because I can check on 4 bands and just jump between them. Right now I've got 80, 40, 20, and 10, and I plan to try to use 10 tonight. I don't know that I'll be able to get into the net, but you never know. And what we're going to do is use this antenna mostly for receive today, and just check the noise floor here in the area. Sometimes you'll find that there's a power pole with a bad transformer or something like that on certain frequencies. So we're going to look at 80, 40, 20, and 10 just because that's what I've got up here on the mast. with the Octopus here, but ultimately it is going to be checking for a noise floor. And then what I've done is I've set up the 7300 here in the shack. There we go. You can see the back of it there, and I'm powering it from the Energy Flex DC. Got the cable connected, and we're doing good there. We've got loads of power, and this radio is only taking out about 13 watts at the moment. I've got the audio turned down. But again, what we're going to double check here is noise floor. And the thing I like about the 7300 is its ability to give you the scope, right? So that you can get a pretty good feel for what that noise floor is going to be. And just looking here, I don't think I've got anybody specifically on there, but it looks like about hardly any noise at all. All these signals are really, really clean. So in the next segment, I'll take you off the old boom here, and we'll look at some of these frequencies, and we'll go up and down the band fairly quickly. But again, I'm just looking for any noise, electric fence. There could be a number of things out here in rural Middle Tennessee. So when I bring you back, we're going to start at 10 meters and work our way up. Alrighty, so I've moved up to 10 meters. And I'm at the very top of the band. I'm just 3 shy. And again, I'm really just looking for noise here. And right now, the scope on this high end of the band is extremely quiet. But again, not a lot of noise. I'll turn this up a little bit, but I don't want you to have to listen to a lot of static on a high level. But you can see here, I don't have the preamp or anything turned on. And it's really quiet. Let's go down the band a little bit, see if we can pick up something. But again, it's really quiet. Now, anytime you do these noise checks, the day that you check it is a factor. It could be just really quiet that day. You may not catch equipment running. This is a little bit later in the afternoon. Let's see, I'm showing 3:25 in the afternoon. But again, just looking at the overall picture here, things are pretty quiet here up on the upper part of this band, and then we'll go on down. Not a lot of activity on 10 right now. Thought I might have saw a little bit of noise there. We're seeing a couple of dancing spikes, but we don't have any blooms. So a little bit of 10 meter there. But again, the noise floor is really low. If you look over here to the left, right where my finger is, right underneath that upper sideband flag, you can see from an S unit standpoint, very little noise, or the noise floor is very low. So I'm really happy with that. Down here on the lower portion of the band, a little bit more activity.
Good for you for keeping on the air and having your audio assistant there, and hopefully we run across you again. Whiskey Delta 4, Lima Tango Foxtrot. I'll say 7-3 from Whiskey Echo 4 Bravo Yankee Mobile 6.
Roger. Do you copy that?
Hearing one side of the conversation really well here.
I wish to have your voice. Mine is very high, completely different. I have to use the EQ Plus to...
And then we'll go down to the very bottom of the band. But again, pretty quiet. Couple of dancing notes there. Noise floor is very low. .300 is pretty much where I need to stop. So right there. So 10 looks pretty good. I'd say we jump up to 20. I'll see you back here in the next segment. We got something here. This is an interesting little waveform. If you look at it, we definitely got some signals here on 20 meters, but something was just there, and then you can see it's now weakening. So we've got something in the vicinity that's wreaking havoc a little bit on 20 meters. Noise floor is still good, but this signal is a little bit weird. Let's see if we can pick up some.
A vertical and a Shakespeare fishing pole in a little ugly shack.
20 meters is busy today. I bet there's going to be some POTA activations out there. We may have to give it a try.
Thank you for sharing. And what I did, I took the elements off and put them aside, and I put 6 elements for 10 meters. So that thing, you are 5 and 7. 5 and 7, and yeah, that's enough.
Noise floor is really good here as well. Not seeing much of anything.
Really, it's extraordinary drought.
Very quiet. The great thing about a low noise floor is that your signals that you're listening to, and I'm just listening to the speaker here on the 7300, if I had my headset on, it would be even clearer, and you'll be able to pick some of those folks out of the low noise, or the low part of the low signal strength.
7 Kilo Alpha Papa Martin, you are 5'9" QSL.
There's probably a POTA. Ah, hear that? That's some kind of interference, some kind of a signal.
The station ending in Delta, please come out.
You can see a little bit of noise to the left and to the right, all the way across the band. So we've got something here.
Papa 3, Juliet Delta, Jose, QSL.
The scope in this case is making that phantom signal show up longer than it needs to, but there's something there.
But hey, I always appreciate getting Puerto Rico. Can't say it as well as you do, but hey, thanks for hunting today in 73.
Let's see if we can pick this fella up. Kilo Yankee 4, Bravo Delta Papa.
Okay, I believe there's 2 Kilo Yankee stations. Let's start with the Kilo Yankee 4, please.
Kilo Yankee 4, Bravo Delta Papa.
Okay, I'm going to take the both Kilo Yankee 4s. Let's start with Kilo Yankee 4, Golf Mike. David, I have you 5'9".
A couple of Kentucky boys probably going after it here.
Running 73. The other station, Kilo Yankee 4, please.
Kilo Yankee 4, Bravo Delta Papa.
Okay, I was missing the Delta. Kilo Yankee 4, Bravo Delta Papa. Brian, I also have you 5'9". Park Kilo 6643.
Roger, Roger, 5'9" on the signal there. You are coming in 5'7" here in Middle Tennessee, Dale Hollow.
Oh, appreciate the 57 down there. Thank you for hunting today in 73.
Roger, Roger, 73. So, octopus antennas getting out, and except for that noise that popped up there, which has disappeared now, but it keeps coming back. You can see it just came back again there. It's just, I'm not sure what to call that, but overall, the noise floor is good, but there's something there.
Foxtrot Papa Whiskey, Whiskey 1, Foxtrot Papa Whiskey. Oh.
Let's get to a quiet area. Look how quiet that is. Again, now we're watching this S meter over here on the far left-hand side, right below the USB. Not bad. S1 and sometimes less.
Kelly, listen, thank you very much. I appreciate it. A freak once, but he's done it.
20 meter sounds great today. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to put this shack over here on this side of the property, is that there's no power in here yet, and this will be away from where I'm actually going to be living. So the RV that I'm in at the moment is 100 yards away. So not completely out of the picture, but it's not putting off a lot either. All right, let's finish up on 20 meters here, and let's move up to 40 meters. Be right back. Alrighty, and we're back. And the noise here, again, very little to talk about, which is good. And it looks like 40 meters is already busy a little bit further south here on the band. I'm at the upper end, and let's traverse. Looking at the noise floor, hardly anything registering. Maybe just a tickle every now and then.
And then Kilo Echo 8 Bravo uniform. Bob, go ahead.
Lots of good signals. Really clear. So far we've had really good luck on all the bands. And in between it's really quiet. Not seeing that that noise we had on 20 meters. Very quiet.
We installed a main.
No blooms. And that's about it. Really pleased with 40 meters here. Don't expect to see a lot on 80, but we're going to try to see if there's any noise in that area. So let's come back and let's check 80. Alrighty, we're down here on 80 meters. A little bit early for 80, but I'm also, again, mainly just looking for noise as we go up through here. And there is nothing here. Let me turn on an amp here. So this is preamp number 2. There's off. Keep it off for right now, but you can see there's a signal hanging out over here to the right.
58 now, man. Hey, man, I think it's great. If he gets people on the air.
Very clear. Could be that he's on an amplifier. It doesn't have to be. But again, quiet.
Oh, I've been feeding in the gut.
Rag chew. Not really showing up on the scope, but if we hit the preamp, yeah, there's a little bit of something there. That preamp would show even more noise if there was a lot of noise on 8. And there's no storms, which 80 meters is susceptible to. I'm going to leave the preamp on for now, just so I can see these little spikes. But again, the noise is non-existent. So we're at the top of the band. So I'm really chuffed. As far as I can tell here, the bands look great. I'm not seeing a lot of noise. Let's go back to 20. Let's see if we see that noise we had a moment ago. So I just quickly came back here to 20 just to see if I can see anything cropping up. And it could be something that's temporary. But 20 looks great. And as far as the noise floor is concerned, really quiet, very clean. So I'm really happy. I'm not seeing an electric fence here in these frequencies. Although, here on 20 meters, we were seeing something a little bit earlier that could be something like an electric fence, maybe. I don't know if they usually attack 20 meters. I know I had a problem with an electric fence on 6 meters back in my old residence in Kentucky, but everything's looking good. So let's come back to our last segment and we'll wrap it up. So I'm really happy with the results. This is a simple test, and I like this kind of a test because I can get out there and just check. I've been curious to see what the HF bands would look like. I have done VHF from here, but not HF, and so I'm happy with the results. Curious to see if that 20 meter noise is always there or if it's something that just comes and goes. But on a day like this, the clouds are, there's a few clouds here and there, but not terribly cloudy, nice sunny day, lots of sunshine today. This simple test gives me an idea that the bands that I searched today, at least in this one time frame, look to be pretty good. So there's a good chance that in fact they'll be good many times. And so this is something that anybody can do. If you've got a new property or if you're doing some investigations about a new repeater site, that sort of thing, this might be something that you could do just to quickly kind of scope out a new location. I'm KY4BDP Brian for the Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. Thanks for watching, and more to come from the property here, and hopefully a tower, or more, shall we say, progress on the tower installation coming soon. 73.